Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if you're here in the hall with us in MIGF Culinary, we are very blessed to have the one and only chef Nathalie Arbefeuille, all the way from Nathalie's Gourmet Studio from Kuala Lumpur. She's a winner of many culinary awards, and she's doing a cooking class right now for us for a French dish. So please give yourself a big round of applause for Chef Nathalie, and stand by here and listen to her talk about how she's going to make the chocolatier profiterole from France. Thank you, Chef. To you. Mic headset for the chef, please.
Yes, now it's working. Okay, I have a voice. Great. So good afternoon, everybody. So as you can hear from my accent, I'm French. I'm not Malaysian. I'm not English. I'm French. So you know, in France we are famous for our fine dining. That I do, but it's not only fine dining is important, but ending a dinner by a good dessert is always very important. So today I'm going to show you how to make some chocolate profiterole from scratch. So you will know a chocolate profiterole is it's a puff, a pastry puff, and then inside you have some ice cream, and on the top you have a hot chocolate sauce. So to make it very interesting and also tasty, the best is to do everything yourself. So I'm going to show you how to make the puff. I'm going to show you how to make the ice cream, vanilla ice cream, and of course how to make the hot chocolate sauce, okay? So we will start with the puff. And to make a good puff, you need to have a good butter. I don't cook with margarine, I cook with butter, because we always say in France that with butter everything is better, okay? So very important, butter. To make some puff, you need some water, you need some eggs, you need some butter, and you need some flour. A little bit of salt, and that's all. There's no sugar. So this is also what I like in this pastry, is that if you have the chance to test it later, you will see that it's very low in sugar and very tasty still. So I will place in my saucepan 150 ml of water, a pinch of salt, a nice pinch of salt, and 100 grams of butter. French butter, of course, as I'm French. So French butter, which is very tasty for the pastry, it's very important. You make the same with margarine, the taste will be different and the result will be different. And I'm going to bring this mix to the boil. So you can go on high heat. And you are going to wait until it's really boiling. By the moment it's boiling, I will keep it for 1 minute boiling to evaporate a little bit of the liquid. Meantime, on my side here, I have 150 grams of flour, all-purpose flour, good quality also, because we don't make good food with bad ingredients, so make sure that your ingredients are premium. And I'm going to wait first for the butter to melt in the water, then to boil for 1 minute, as I said, with the pinch of salt. Then after that, in one shot, I will add my flour. I will stir. The best to make this pastry is a wooden spoon and a saucepan. That's all you need. So for once, you don't need any equipment to do this dessert. So no excuses not to do it. You have also in the recipe 5 full eggs, okay? So this is important to have them cold if it's possible. But we are going to do this pastry, this puff, we will make it in the saucepan because it's important to work the butter into a hot pot to keep the dough warm. This is what will allow your dough after to puff in the oven and to really prove nicely and round in shape. So now that my water is nicely boiling, I'm going to count 1 minute. 1 minute to make sure that the water has evaporated enough. So it's really boiling. I think you can see with the camera how strong it is boiling. With induction stove, it's very efficient and fast. So I let it boil. 30 more seconds. And then I will stop the stove and I will add the flour. Okay. Okay, so I stop the fire. One shot. I add my flour and I'm going to start stirring. So it's not going to make some lumps because the batter is going to be thick. And as you can see, we have something like a ball of dough, quite compact. I'm going to put it back a little bit on the fire. Here, slowly. And at the same time, I'm going to stir. So I'm going to dry a little bit out the dough before I add the eggs, to make sure that I don't have too much humidity in the batter. So this process is very important. And after that, I'm going to combine my eggs inside, one by one, not all in one shot. So that's very good for your arms. You tight the stomach at the same time and you do abdominals. So you see, very compact and nicely evaporated. You can move the pan and get a nice compact dough. So now I'm going to add one by one the eggs. So even though my pot is hot, it's not a problem. Of course, you need to be efficient and fast to make sure that your eggs are not going to cook. So one egg first. I'm going to mix it and I will add the second one only once the first one is nicely combined. So it's quite slippery, so don't go too fast when you do it, otherwise everything will fly away. And then off I go with my mussels. Okay, so once the first one is nicely combined, we add the second one. And I start the same process. So if you are the one making the choux pastry, you deserve 2 choux instead of 1 because you burn some calories. Okay, so second egg insert. I add a third one. And I keep going. Okay. Like that. Then I add the next one. Keep going. Everybody think it's very difficult to do. It's actually not difficult. You just have to follow the process of the heat. The temperature is very important. Pastry is always chemistry, you know. When you have a recipe, you need to follow it. You can't really, like when I do my savories, you can always add a little bit of this, a little bit of that. It will always work, you know, but not with pastry. Pastries, you have rules and you need to follow the rules. Okay. So it starts getting good. And I finish with the last one. Stir slowly. And we're gonna have a very nice batter. That is going to surprisingly puff in the oven really, really nicely. It's doubling in volume at least without any baking powder. There's no baking powder in this batter. Okay, so the dough is ready. As you can see, you see the texture of the dough. A choux pastry is elastic and it's making some line like that. It's breaking easily and you have a perfect texture. It needs to be slightly shiny also. So I just make sure that I combine it enough. Here we go. Okay, so this batter, I'm going to place it into into a piping bag equipped with a single nozzle around 1.2 centimeter. So best way to hold the piping bag is to use anything narrow. You can open the bag on top of a narrow pot. Like that, your two hands are free to pipe, to pour the dough in the piping bag. Like that. Okay. So now, piping. This is another story. Everybody is scared of piping, but it's actually easy and convenient. You just need to get the right technique. So number one, when you use a piping bag, up first, you screw the bag. You screw it until it's going almost out from the nozzle. Then you have to hold your bag in one hand with the palm of your hand, like that. This hand is almost doing nothing except guiding the movement, that's all, okay? But when you pipe, it's not by using the left hand to press in the middle, because in that way, the dough will go that way, everywhere, it's a mess, okay? So remember, screw, hold in the full palm of your hand, and this hand is just helping. I'm not pressing with it. My piping bag is straight. I press in one shot, I stop pressing, and I turn on the top to stop the pipe, the dough to come out, like that. Don't make them too big because they will, it will grow quite a lot. And you go like that, and not too close from each other, because as they're gonna prove in the oven, if you make them too close from each other, they will stick together. So you see fast movement on the top to stop the dropping of the dough. You really need to sit the choux nicely on the tray. I am using a silicone mat, but you can easily use a baking parchment, or you can directly grease a tray to make sure that the choux won't stick on the tray. So my recipe is making quite a lot of choux. My oven is preheated at 180 degrees. And the baking time is roughly 35 minutes. Once you take them out from the oven, they must be dry and crispy, because with the humidity we have here, it's important to bake them enough, otherwise they will be all soft. Is there somebody who wants to try how to make the piping? How to do the piping? No? Usually everybody escapes on that. They're too scared. So I go one by one, and you see this little movement? He's helping to stop the draw, the dropping. You can easily freeze the dough like that on the tray directly in the freezer. And the day you want to bake some choux, you just take a few, place them on a tray, and bake them straight away. It works very well. You can also bake them and freeze them and place them again in the oven before using them. It works also very well. Okay, so you see you easily do 2 trays of choux. Voila. So this is done. Now, of course, this little choux must be pretty. So I'm going to add some egg wash. I'm going to glaze them with some egg wash in order to make them nicely golden at the end. So egg wash, there's only one technique which is very efficient. A full egg and some salt. The salt is going to kill the albumin of your egg, and it will help the egg wash to become very liquid, same as this, but also very shiny, okay? There's plenty of different techniques for egg wash, but for me the best one is this one. So I just brush my eggs with this egg wash, and at the same time my brush is helping to flatten the little tail that I have on top of the choux to erase the imperfection of the piping. So this is important for 2 things. First, because you can really make your little choux nicer, but also the egg wash is helping the choux to be shiny at the end. You can be generous. So in France, you find some chocolate profiterole almost in all the restaurants, but they are not good everywhere. So there's nothing nicer than if you do it, but if you do it yourself. So the chocolate sauce is done by ourselves, the choux also, and also the ice cream. And like that, by making by yourself everything, you can really control the level of sugar. A good dessert doesn't need to be super sweet. And it's not good to eat too sweet. So I can really control the level of the sugar in my desserts. So egg wash on each of them. And then I'm going to place them in the oven for 35 minutes. Okay, almost done. So you see I'm flattening the little drop of the batter on the top to make my shoe perfectly shaped. So even if you don't pipe them nicely, there's always a way to fix them, to make them a better shape. Okay, baking time. So I go with my 2 trays in the oven. By the moment you use a fan position, you can bake 2 trays at the same time. Don't forget to put a timer. 30 minutes, perfect. Would you like to? Okay. Okay, so now that the shoes are on the way, I'm going to prepare the ice cream. So, of course, it's easy to buy an ice cream, but it's very nice to make it yourself. So, it's very simple. Everybody thinks it's difficult, but it's not difficult to make an ice cream. Once again, you need some good ingredients: full cream milk, okay, a nice whipping cream, because you need some cream to get the texture of your ice cream. If there's no cream, actually, you won't bring any soft texture into your ice cream, and it will be too watery, too icy, actually. So it's very important to put the cream, okay? So we have 250 grams of whipping cream. Of course, I will mention that it's a French cream. So cream in the pot, milk in the pot,
Vicky, we didn't take any plates. Two plates after.
Okay, I'm going to add, of course, some vanilla. So very, very important natural flavors. So I am using only vanilla, pure natural vanilla essence. A good amount to get a good flavor. This one is coming from Tahiti. Best vanillas are coming from Tahiti or from another island that from Madagascar, sorry. So I'm going to boil the milk, very important, to allow the vanilla to infuse into that milk and cream. And meantime, I will mix in a pot some yolks, egg yolks only, 5, and only 80 grams of sugar. So very, very small quantity of sugar for the quantity of liquids. And I'm going to whisk. Again, I'm going to exercise to make the mix of egg and sugar white and creamy. So the process of a crème anglaise is actually quite complicated to do, because to make a crème anglaise, you need to make sure that you're not going to bring the mix of eggs and milk to the boil. If you boil it, you scramble your eggs and you will fail. So before, on the books, they were telling you to actually use a wooden spoon, go slowly, and once the cream is coating the spoon, the cream is ready. Most of the time, by that moment, everything was already scrambled. So a lot of people were failing on it. So now we have modern techniques to avoid this kind of mistake. We know that the boiling point is 90 degrees. I need to make sure that I don't bring my cream to 90 degrees, but I need to make sure I cook my eggs. So the best way actually to cook your cream is to bring it to 85 degrees. So 85 degrees by your nose and your eyes is not helping, okay? Best is actually to use a thermometer. So I'm going to use this magical tool that we call a thermometer, and the thermometer is going to tell me when to stop. So once my cream will be at 85 degrees, I will immediately take it out from the stove, and I will pour it immediately in another pot, because if you leave it on the pot, 85 degrees is very close from 90, and you will actually scramble the bottom of your saucepan. So you have immediately to place them out of the stove. So I'm going to pour the milk little by little on top of my eggs. My milk has boiled because there's no eggs yet on it, so the milk can boil. But right now, by the moment I pour my milk on top of the eggs, I cannot bring it back to the boil, okay? So this cream is going to go back to the pot. And then I'm going to check the temperature. So because my milk was boiling just now, my cream is already at that point around 78 degrees. So I'm going to place back my pan on the stove. And at the same time, I'm going to whisk, because if you don't whisk, you will scramble your eggs. So you need to act a little bit to be efficient. And I'm whisking. And I'm at 85, and I stop the cooking of my cream. My cream is ready. So you see, it's super fast and super efficient. I don't stop stirring, and I pour my cream in another pot. So you see, I have a cream that has, well, coating my pot. It's not scrambled, it's just nice. And I have the right texture, same as explained in the books, when they say that the cream has to coat the spoon, the wooden spoon, you see? It's coating nicely my wooden spoon, and I didn't turn my cream into a scrambled egg, okay? So thank you for the thermometer. We have to enjoy new tools. So this is done. I have now this cream, of course, to turn it into an ice cream maker. Into an ice cream, you need an ice cream maker. So number one, you need to chill this cream. Number two, once it's chilled, you turn it into an ice cream maker to turn it into an ice cream, okay? So, of course, to make you test, I bring some ice cream that we did ourselves. I'm going now to prepare the chocolate sauce. So, chocolate sauce, again, I have some cream, I have some milk, and I have a very good chocolate. Best chocolates are coming from Swiss, from France, or from Belgium. This is where you will get the best chocolates. Now, in Malaysia, you can find a very good chocolate that I had a chance to test recently, made by a Malaysian person who's making a beautiful chocolate, exclusively made in Malaysia and exclusively with cocoa beans from Malaysia. And the name of the chocolate, remember it, is Chocolate Concierge. And I invite you one day to test if you can, because this is really a great chocolate. avoid the chocolate, compound chocolate. This is not chocolate, so please escape this. Better spend a little bit more money to get a good chocolate. So, process to melt the chocolate. Chocolate doesn't like the heat, okay? So you need to be very careful not to place the chocolate directly on the stove. The first thing that you are going to do is first to heat your cream and your milk together. On my sauce, there's no sugar, no need. So I have the cream. I'm going to add the milk. Can you find me just a nice porcelain plate for the plating? And I'm going to wait for the cream and milk to be hot. And then out of the stove, I will add the chocolate. So a nice chocolate for a nice chocolate profiterole. So you don't need to make it boiling like crazy. Just the first bubbles will be enough to allow the chocolate to cook, to be melted. I also have roasted some almonds, because for the garnishing of the chocolate profiterole, we need some toasted almonds. To toast some almonds, put your flakes of almonds on an oven tray, 150 degrees, 20 minutes, and they will turn nicely golden and more and tastier, actually. So my milk and cream are boiling. I stop the fire, and I'm just adding my chocolate in one shot, slowly. And I just wait like that 1 minute. The heat of the cream will allow my chocolate to melt nicely without damaging the texture of the chocolate. Yes, maybe I can use. We'll change the pot to have more space. It's quite full. So my chocolate has already melted quite nicely. And I'm just going to start emulsifying the chocolate with the cream and the milk. So can you give us an update on the shoe? Are they proving? I can't see what's happening there. Do we see? No. Bigger and bigger. Good. That's a good sign. So the chocolate is nicely melting with the heat of the cream and milk. Of course, we need to make sure that it's nicely melted. And at the end, I'm just going to go back, now that the chocolate is mixed, I'm going to go back to the stove just to cook this chocolate sauce nicely, to give it some texture. Okay. And at the same time, I will, of course, make sure that I'm whisking to make sure that, as I told you at the beginning, we don't put the chocolate straight on the stove. But by the moment it's mixed with the liquids, you don't take the same risk, okay? So I'm just whisking so the color of the sauce is changing. It's getting darker. And I'm going to wait until it's nicely liquid, but also with a kind of a thicker cream texture. So make sure that you don't go too fast, because otherwise you will burn the chocolate. As I said, it's fragile. So I'm having a nice sauce. And I have a nice also smell that you might not have, but I do have a very nice smell under my nose. So you too, huh? Yes, he's hidden behind, but he has the smell coming like that. Soon he's going to jump on the pan. Okay, so I let it slightly simmer, and surprise, 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 I have some choux ready that I'm going to start building. So you see that once they are baked, okay, they become like that. They are nicely puffed, and we are going to start preparing them. Gloves? Do you see some gloves for me, Vicky? Gloves. Did you see some gloves? No? Oh, putain. Okay. Okay, so we have, when you bake some choux, you need to protect them with some plastic film, because the humidity is so strong in Malaysia that you really have to make sure that you protect them nicely. So here I have some ice cream. You don't give me any gloves. Okay. My chocolate sauce is nice and creamy. Okay, and I'm going to start the building. So to fill the choux, we cut them. So 1/3 on the top, 2/3 on the bottom. So you see it's empty in the middle. We're gonna stuff them with some ice cream. So normally a portion for one serving is around 3 to 5. Depends your appetite. But if the choux are not too big, you can go up to 5. So I have scooped some ice cream. Thank you. I'm going to take a glove. I place my ice cream scoop. So I always scoop them in advance because it's not easy to cook in the middle of an airport or to bring some ice cream without ice cream freezer. And I'm placing after the little lid on top of my shoe. And then I'm going to place them nicely. Can make another one. Okay, like that. Okay. Then I'm going to take my chocolate sauce. So to make it nice and tasty, your chocolate sauce must be hot with the cold of the ice cream. Is going to give the right temperature. It will slightly melt the ice cream and make it even tastier. So of course, when you have a nice chocolate sauce, you need to make sure you pour enough. So all those little choux must be nicely coated with the profiterole, with the chocolate. Like that. And up, 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 up. Make some design. And then some almond flakes. Here you go. French vanilla ice cream, chocolate profiterole. Voilà. Thank you. Okay, so it's time to test. I'm inviting you to come and see me if you want to test some of my profiterole. Once again, vanilla ice cream with good quality of vanilla, good quality of milk, good quality of cream. The puff with some good quality butter, French butter. You can't be wrong, okay? And very little amount of sugar. Okay, so bon appétit. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Chef Nathalie. Please give a big round of applause.
Thank you.
Is this for tasting, Nathalie?
Yes,
can
it
I
is.
try?
Yes, it is.
So please come up here, take a taste of the Chef Nathalie's chocolate profiterole. Yes, sure. Yeah. How?
Let me plate you some.
They will actually cut you some. Yeah. This is a rare chance to taste this amazing award-winning chef's well-made on-the-spot dessert. So please, don't miss it. Cepatnya lah ni. Jush. Wow. Okay. Nathalie, is that enough?
Yes, I made plenty. So,
all right, fantastic.
Oh, yes,
okay.
yes. Please come. I'm happy
Okay,
to
so
share.
there's only one thing if you want to taste the free food, all the free chef food, all the workshop, mesti pergi sana like and follow, okay tak? Boleh ya?
It's your plate.
Okay. Nathalie, what is your Instagram? Can you just announce it?
It's Nathalie Gourmet.
Nathalie Gourmet, okay? Yeah, for Instagram.
Please follow us.
Follow and like. Take
You
photo
can,
and
oui, je-
post.
Oui, s'il te plaît. Follow us, please. I post some stories every day. And we also, I like to share also some of my recipes. So look at our stories. Can
Wah,
you have your
panjangnya lah ni.
you arrive with your.
Okay, so if you're over
yes.
this side, after you have gotten Chef Nathalie's chocolate profiterole and tasted that, you should go over to the other end of the Gastro Village because we moved all the lifestyle workshops here. So we have Mr. Andrew Lott now, but from Mona, doing a mocktail appreciation with all kinds of syrups at the back. Okay, again, that is free tasting of the mocktails, and it's of course because mocktail or halal, yeah, mocktail. At the end, next to Fukuya, over there.
So
if you're
enjoy
working-
this chocolate that is really, really tasty. Welcome.